Hello and welcome everyone to the first live of 2022. I'm Keesha and I'm so excited to have you all here today with us. Raunak, I think you're on mute, please.
Oh, hi Keesha and hello everybody. Very nice that we have got the opportunity to do the very first live of 2022. I'm very excited.
Yes. If you all are excited, let us know in the chat. Put in your comments, your questions, and if someone wants to join us on this live, definitely put it up in the chat.
And we would love to have somebody on the live today. We want to talk to you all. We want to know how you're feeling, how you're excited about the new year.
Yes.
And yes, since we talked about the last time as well, we want to know how many of you have been able to do your New Year resolutions in 7 days. So that.
True. Tell us if you've been able to stick to it. If you haven't, that's okay. But as long as you know that you haven't, and then you try to do
because something. I haven't, so it's chill, guys. We can talk about it, how we failed, but we should talk about it, definitely.
Yes, I think my first one was that I would be awake at 12 o'clock on New Year's Eve, which I really wasn't. I was asleep for the first time ever. But yes, and the new year has begun and there's so much happening around us, so much new information and news. And of course, we know the cases are on a rise again. Yeah. So hope everybody is staying in, staying safe and finding new ways to entertain themselves while they're at home.
Yes, definitely. And you guys all should stay in and we are here to entertain you almost every week. We'll be here live. So guys, watch us. Don't go out.
Yes, stay safe. It is dangerous. The numbers are increasing very, very rapidly. So it is a little dangerous. And hopefully you and your family stay safe through this. I don't know what number of wave this is. Some people say it's the third wave. Yeah, but I feel like we've been through a tsunami.
So many waves now. Oh my God. Yes, so true. And
yeah. So, last time we... Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Yes, Divyam, we are excited as well.
Hello. Nice
and
to
also,
see you here.
Kajal Maurya has said hi to both of us. Hi, Kajal.
Hi, Kajal. Nice to see you here. And, last time we spoke about things we should do. And I think we keep talking about what should you do to improve your English. You can do this and do this and do that. But I feel like this time, let's talk about things that we shouldn't do. What do you think about that?
Okay. Yeah, that would be smart. I think we should do that. Because yes, everybody tells us the to-do list. Do this, do that. Yes. But yes, I think we should tell them and each other as well of what to do when we are learning English. Okay. We should do it.
If any of you have any points about things that we shouldn't do, definitely we should stay away from when we're learning English or trying to improve our English. Tell us in the chat, okay, so that we can help others also, and then we can share your ideas with everybody on this live. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So, want to go first? Tell me something that we definitely shouldn't do.
Okay. So, the first thing that hits me is that we shouldn't run away from grammar.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So, I've seen many of my friends and learners, including me when I was in school, Keesha, I hated the grammar rules, and I rarely used to cheat in tests and exams, but
I like how you're being honest about it.
I used to score well, okay, but the only thing that I couldn't remember was those grammar rules, verb this, form that. Oh my God, it was like my mind always blew when I tried to learn all that, and I gave up. I never learned those, and I remember asking my friends in the test and scoring full 20 on 20 marks because they held me with grammar rules. So, but what I did was that I practiced those without realizing that I have learned that. So guys, it's a bad thing, okay?
Don't cheat on tests.
Don't cheat on tests as well, okay? Sometimes it's okay, Keesha. Sometimes it's okay. But you have to learn these grammar rules. It seems very difficult in the beginning, but when you try and put those in practice, and when you know what is actually happening, so that is when they don't feel difficult or boring. So don't run away from grammar, guys. Learn the grammar rules and implement them.
For sure. We keep saying, and we look at these big, thick books, and there are so many rules and exceptions to the exceptions and exceptions to the rules.
Oh my God, yes.
And it is overwhelming, I'll be very honest. And sometimes even when like you're trying to make a sentence, you're like, is it this? Should it be this? It happens. But you'll be so much more confident if you actually understand the rule versus you just listening to someone and then going, they say it like this, so you say it like this. Then you can't form sentences on your own. You just copy someone or copy some other idea. So I think the best thing to do is learn some of it. And maybe you don't have to mug it up, don't have to go crazy about it. Learn a little bit, it'll be very helpful, and you'll feel so much more confident because you know for a fact the sentence you're saying is correct.
Correct.
You know that. I think you'll feel a lot of confidence in that. Another thing I feel like we shouldn't do, and this is something that, it just popped up in my mind as you were talking about your friends who you asked in the exam, that we definitely shouldn't compare ourselves to others. We tend to compare ourselves to other people and their progress, but everyone starts differently. Everyone has a different journey. And I don't think we should take our experiences and compare them with someone else's. So even if you and me start learning another language together, doesn't mean that you and I will reach the same destination at the same time, right? So I think we should definitely stop comparing ourselves and diminishing our own growth and progress by looking at someone else's, right?
Yeah, that's so true. I agree. And and like a famous quote always says that your competition and your comparison shouldn't be somebody else but your own self.
Yes.
As to how you were yesterday and how you're today, there should be a change. There should be growth in that comparison, and not as compared to somebody else, because you have a different journey, they have a different journey, a different environment and everything else, and different learning speeds as well. So
true. We have some people saying hi to us. Arushi is saying hi to us. So hi Arushi, so nice to see you here. We have learned with you.
What an interesting topic. Thank you, Arushi.
Thank you. And, thank you, Learn With Me. Hello, thank you for being here. So happy to see you here. I think you've been here with us before, so happy to see you here again.
Yes. And guys, please, if anybody wants to join us here on the live today, so send the comment for that. We would love to have a conversation with all of you. Not as much as possible.
Send us your questions. If you have some doubts, some questions, you can send us those as well, and we'll try in the course of this live to sort of answer them to the best of our ability, right? So Raunak, what else shouldn't we do if we're trying to improve our English?
Okay, since we're talking about the learning speed and how every one of us is different, the next not to do thing is we shouldn't avoid speaking.
Right.
We're trying to learn here, right? So we only learn with constant practice. So I have seen people who just give up because they're not able to do that. So that is not a very good attitude, I would say. And I have been in that situation because I remember, like, when in school, I wasn't a fluent speaker, to be honest. And I almost gave up something, and I gave up speaking for a while. But then I realized that's not the solution, and that's not how things work. So we shouldn't avoid speaking. We should speak more and more. It's okay to make mistakes when you're learning, obviously. Even Keesha, even I still make mistakes. Many of us still make mistakes.
Of course.
It's okay. It's not our mother tongue. It's completely okay.
True.
So, and laugh at your own mistakes. Don't worry if you make a mistake. So it's okay to make mistakes. We shouldn't avoid speaking.
You brought up some great points, because another shouldn't is that you shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes. That's where you learn, that's where you grow. And especially if you have someone to correct you, or you know how to correct yourself or identify your own mistakes, I think that is Very, very important. So I guess you shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes. And also you shouldn't be afraid of speaking just because you're going to make mistakes. And that brings me to one more thing, that there are so many shouldn'ts that are intertwined with this. So I'm just going to go with that one. Is that, we shouldn't think that just by listening or by watching, we're going to be able to learn English.
True.
That's not possible. You have to speak, because you won't get that practice of thinking of words, using them on the spot. If you just keep thinking and reading, you'll have a lot of input. So the next time you read, you'll recognize the word. The next time you watch it, you'll understand everything, but you won't be able to do it yourself, right? So, for example, if I tell you to go drive from Mumbai to Delhi, and you never drive, you just watch. You'll know when to take the left, the right, you'll know all that. You'll understand things, you'll be able to do it, but you won't know how to drive. You won't know how to drive on those roads, on those highways. You won't learn that. So it's like trying to drive a car by just watching. I can also watch and know that the gear is used like this, the steering wheel is used like this. This is my favorite example to give. But till you don't do it and you do it yourself, that's when you'll actually know that, when I need to stop, I need to do this, this, and this, so the car actually stops, as opposed to just knowing that I need to do this and this, and then it doesn't stop when it needs to stop.
So true.
Right? So that's something that we should definitely
So what you're saying is that we should have the practical knowledge as well.
Absolutely.
Not just the theoretical ones, theoretical knowledge that we get through the books. So we need to practice with that. That's true.
Yeah. I think we have some more people joining us. I think we have Rakshita, who's saying that we definitely should never compare ourselves with others and compete only with ourselves. So that's a great point. Thank you for agreeing with us.
And Rakshita, she said, hello, Keesha and Raunak ma'am.
Hello. And we have someone, I'm sure that name is not fascinating biology, but I think that's their username. And he or she says that they are a learner at Clapingo and they find these lives very helpful. And in this, I feel very, very, very happy, because that was our goal in beginning these lives and being consistent with having one at least every week. So I think if you find them helpful, we're so happy to see you here, and keep joining. And Abhishek Sharma says hello. So,
hello, Abhishek.
Right. So, my last, I think, that we shouldn't do, and this is something I've come across, and this is I think one of the only things that's probably common with beginners and advanced speakers. It's this thing that we have in common, is that we use certain words again and again and again, repeatedly, and we don't really know their meaning.
True. Yes.
We may feel it means something, and we keep using it, and then one day we realize that maybe that's not what it means, and then we have like this facepalm moment, like what did I say, or what did
Sudden realization.
Yeah, it's like, I've been using it forever like this,
and it doesn't mean that.
Yeah. And the first word that I think of when I think of this concept is the word of course. I think a lot of people think it means yes, and it becomes synonymous with yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. Of course means that I wouldn't consider any other option but the option I'm speaking about. So if someone asks me, will you complete your assignment? Of course I'll complete my assignment on time, right? Of course, like there's no question about it. That's definitely something I want to do. Or another example would be like, will you finish this piece of cake? Of course I'm finishing. I got very excited about cake, sorry. Of course I'm finishing this piece of cake. Forget the piece of cake. I'm probably finishing the entire cake. So yeah, that means that there is no option but. It doesn't mean yes. Of course, sometimes we say yes, of course. Yes, of course, we say this, because it means yes, that you're agreeing to something, and then you're also saying that there is no other option but this. But that doesn't mean one replaces the other every time. So this is one word that I clearly remember.
Yeah, right? That's true, Keesha. And I could just think of another word, and that's obviously.
Yes.
how I've seen people use obviously without context, and obviously doesn't mean yes. It means that something is obvious. Like as
Obvious.
you said that there is no other option, but yes, this is obvious. It's
Yes.
obvious that I will eat the piece of cake given to me, because who will not like a cake?
Yes.
Yes. Like if you ask me the same question, I'll be like, obviously, Keisha, I'll eat the piece of cake you gave me.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so it doesn't mean yes, guys.
Yes.
So,
You
and
have to derive it.
yeah,
Sorry.
and
You
I
have to
want
just
to
derive.
ask, I just want to ask all my learners, all our learners here, that if you know some words like these that we use, we don't mean, yeah, of course, and obviously, but we're trying to say that. So if you have any such words, please put those in the comments. Let us know, and we'll share
Yes.
those.
Yes. Rakshita brings up this point also, that sometimes when we replace these words, they come across as rude, which is true. If I'm asking you, like, hi, are you happy to be here? Or like, hi, will you do this for me? Like, of course. And it just sounds like I'm asking you, I'm genuinely asking you, because I don't know whether you're saying yes or no. And
True.
in those situations, when someone says, of course, or obviously I'm going to do that, it's almost like, it almost can come across as rude. So it's not
And
just a mistake in
And for
usage, it's
people
also
like
rude.
me, I'll be like thinking about that, of course, and obviously for the rest of my day, for the rest of my week, because
Possibly.
I am a person
Overthink.
who's an overthinker and very
Yes.
sensitive. I feel like, oh my god, did I do something offensive?
Wrong.
Did I
Yeah,
do
like,
something wrong?
was that an incorrect question? Did that not make sense? For sure. I agree, because if you understand those meanings, you think like, was I wrong? Maybe I should have said something differently. So it can come across as rude, and obviously means that the other person, you know that the other person knows it.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious to them. Like if I tell you, Raunak, would you go on a vacation, or would you like to do 10 homework assignments? And you'll be like, obviously, I would like to do. It's that obvious. Of course, there's no, the other choice doesn't make sense. So it's close to, of course, but it's like the other choice doesn't make sense. So then it makes sense. But in things where both options are equally viable, equally make sense, then it doesn't make that much sense. So I think we should really look at the words that we use. And we all have done this. We use words like awesome incorrectly, astounding incorrectly, because we feel that it means a compliment. It doesn't necessarily always mean.
When you just said compliment, I just remember fascinating, how people use fascinating as a compliment, and then as appreciating something, it's not a compliment.
No, not always. Like it can be sometimes if in certain things, in certain contexts, but I think we have to derive the context from what the conversation is, what question is being asked. Like it would be fascinating. You wouldn't call like a red sari or a red dress fascinating.
No,
No, it would be normal, or it would be fine. But in case it was an event where you're not supposed to wear a bright color or a fancy color, and then they still choose that, and then it works well. Like it's something that, oh, we didn't expect that, but it looks good. Then probably in those cases you would say, oh, it's fascinating. But for everything you wouldn't use these words, because sometimes they just mean shocking. Like shocking is not always a good shock, right? We have bad kinds of shocks as well. So you guys tell us if you've noticed some words that you use, or you have seen someone else use, and then you've been confused by its usage, and you don't know if it's exactly a compliment or not, or if it's a good thing or not, or if it's a bad thing or not. So tell us in the comments so we can also know and share that with everybody. Right? I think we have a few more comments on it, right?
Yes. I just read that Fascinating Biology told us that she is Harshita. We're sorry, we did not know that your name is Harshita, but hello, Harshita. Very nice to see you here.
Yes.
Okay. So, learn with me. Do you want to join us?
Yes.
Do you want to have a conversation with us? Because we would love to talk to you, because you are one of our consistent viewers on our live.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So if you'd like to join, please message us on Instagram from your Instagram handle, and we'll send you the details so that you can join us. So if you're interested, please do that. And at this time, I think we've come to the end of our shouldn'ts. We've given you quite a few to think about. We have a special announcement this time. And the announcement is that our iOS app for speakers and learners is now live. So for all our learners who would like to become more fluent and you have an iOS device, our app is now live, so you can download it and you'll be able to access the platform and the sessions. So that was our exciting announcement for today. So that kind of brings us to the next thing that I thought we would talk about, is that, we ended last year, we speak about like resolutions. You end the previous year, say, oh, this resolution, this is my resolution, that is my resolution. But I think when we're in the new year and in the first week of the new year, let's talk about some goals. Let's talk about what are some goals that you have in the year, right? It's a little different from resolutions. Goals probably don't mean the same thing as resolutions, right?
Yeah, I think yes. And probably goals and resolutions differ in a way, as in resolution is probably the habit that you're wanting to inculcate in the new year. Mostly that is when we take the resolutions, and that I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll wake up early in the morning. That's what I thought. But goal, if my resolution is waking up early every morning, my goal would be to become an early riser, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's the difference between resolution and goal. Goal is the end aim that you're trying to achieve, and end result. Yes.
The resolution is just the path, the action that you are willing to take or you plan to take to get to that goal, which is either becoming an early riser or making the most of your day, or etc., etc. For example, if my goal was to lose 10 or 20 kgs, big goal. But if that was my goal, then my resolution would be, I'd like to eat healthy. I would like to go to the gym every day. I should do this, or those kind of things would be my resolution. So, what are your goals, guys? Tell us, what are your goals for 2022? I'm guessing many of you that are here, your goals might be to become better English speakers, or more fluent in English, or fluent English speakers, right? So please tell us what your goals are, what are your exact goals, and what are you doing about it? What are you planning to do to get to that goal?
Yes,
and Raunak, what's your goal?
Oh, as I mentioned earlier,
the early rising.
So I want to become an early riser. That's my goal. And my New Year resolution was kind of on the same lines. And I'm kind of trying to achieve it. So it's been 7 days, right, since the New Year. So I have probably woken up on 3 days in early morning.
That's not bad.
So I'm probably halfway there. Still.
Now you have to do this for 6 more months to be halfway there throughout.
Yes, but hopefully. But I'm trying to do.
Fingers crossed.
It sounds a little cliche, but Keesha, the peace that's there in the morning, the serenity that's there in the morning is in no part of the day. We all feel like at night when everybody at our homes sleeps, and we want to do our work in peace.
Yes.
So, but it's nothing as compared to what you feel in the morning when you wake up early, and then and the peace in the environment. There's no noise, and it's really great. And our learners would probably better be able to tell, because you and I are not the people who wake up early. So if anybody knows, then please let us know how to wake up early in the morning.
Yes.
That's what we should know.
We'll tell you interesting tips on how to get better at English, and you please tell us interesting tips about how to wake up early.
How to wake up early in the morning.
Yeah. But that's true. It's not just the peace. I feel a lot of peace at night. I'm a total night owl, but I feel like when you get to be with everyone in the morning and you have the same kind of day as everybody, you're at the same energy as everyone. If everyone's waking up at about 6, 7, 8 a.m., then everyone is slow, sleepy, groggy at the same time. If you wake up at 12 to 4, Everyone is half done with their day.
You're
They're
just
getting
done with the
ready.
day.
Yeah, for their second nap. You all are not on the same page. You haven't had the same amount of food. You haven't had the same meals. You haven't had the same experience. So I feel like, yes, definitely. So that's a good goal.
We have a tip.
Oh, you do.
How to wake up early in the morning, and Shambhavi tells us to sleep early. That's how we wake up early in the morning. Thank you so much, Shambhavi, as if we didn't know.
It's like when we say, to be able to speak in English. But how do we speak in English?
How do we do that?
And how do we sleep early?
That's also a question. Now people tell us, how do we sleep early? So I think that would help now.
I think we should have been more specific in our question.
But thank you so much, Shambhavi, for this tip.
Sharing that anyway, and also making us realize our flaw in the question. So that's something I think personally I don't think of myself as having certain specific goals, but I think I would like to be a more together person by the end of this year. Just getting all the things that I want to do, and instead of saying, I want to do this and I could have done this and I didn't do this and I'll do this next year, I think actually doing those things and then being grateful for all those things. I think, to me, that's being a together person. So I think my goal is to become a together person. My resolution was to balance my time well. Touch wood and fingers crossed, and everything else I can do to make this happen. It's happened for the last 7 days. Yeah, I think I've sort of been able to balance all the things that I like to do. Sort of being the operative keyword there. Not completely, kind of, but it's getting there. So I think that's something that we can do. So that was my goal, to get be a more together person. Maybe not at the end of 22, just at the end of January. I would settle for that also at this point, to just keep myself motivated, right? And I think with that, I think we're coming to the end of this live, and we'll wrap up. But before we wrap up, what if we share 2 tips, not about waking up early and sleeping early?
We are not the right people to do that, in fact.
No, not at all. But we're definitely some people who can help you with your English. So if your goal is to become a fluent speaker, a better speaker, or just improve your English overall, we have a couple of tips for you. So I thought we would share two tips each about that, right? Okay, Raunak, tell us your tip.
Okay, so my first tip is, it's very underrated, I guess, but it's important, very important, that for better speaking, we need to be a better listener as well. So listening skill is as important as the speaking skill, because that's how you will learn to speak when you listen. So it's very important to actually know what the other person is trying to ask when they're talking to you, so that you can reply in a better manner. That's when you become a better speaker, right? When speaking is not just speaking anything that comes to your mind. That's not speaking. That's probably blabbering. Speaking is when you and the other person have a connection, have the communication, and that happens when you know what the other person is trying to ask. So I think that's very important. Also, it helps greatly when you're probably being asked a question. So more than half actually of your sentence is the question as well.
Right.
So instead of if you ask me, Raunak, what did you have for lunch today? Instead of just saying pasta, I will tell you, okay, Keesha, I had this for lunch today. So all the words that I wanted to say, you have already said that. You've given it to me. True. So it's very important, and that's my first tip, to be.
Side note, that made me hungry. Now pasta. So thanks. But that's a great tip. I think being a better listener definitely improves your English, and don't pay that much attention to it. I think my first tip would be to, identify where you need to improve and identify the methods that actually help you. Like, just because something works for someone else doesn't mean it works for me, because I'm different. Right? So if we're not comparing ourselves to others, we also shouldn't go with their methods always. So I can get different methods from different people and then take, something from there and learn from there. Instead of just going with one thing, just because going to the gym works for everybody to lose weight doesn't mean it might necessarily work for me, right? Same thing with English. Just because watching TV shows works for everybody or reading a book works for everybody doesn't mean it works for me. For me, it might be speaking again and again. For me, it might be talking to myself, talking in front of the mirror, recording myself, speaking in my mind, writing down sentences. I don't know. It works very differently for everybody. So I think if I were to give a tip on this would be take your time to first figure out where you need to correct yourself, where you need the most help and improvement, or where do you want to improve the most. And then secondly, identifying the method that works best for you. Of course, there are some methods that you cannot, ignore. You can't ignore speaking while trying to speak. But at the same time, you need to figure out what are the methods that will get me to that place. Right?
That's so true. Okay, before that, we have a comment, and Roshni tells us that both of you look so pretty. Thank you so much,
How
Roshni.
sweet.
We are glad that you're here and you're watching us live. And
thank you for that.
Also, Keesha, I would really like to tell that your point really makes a lot of sense, because obviously not everything would work for you. Not everything would work for you. And like some people I know, they say that we should listen to everybody but do what we want to do. So in the similar manner, we should see what everybody is doing, no doubt in that, but we should pick up the things that we know will work for us.
True. For sure. I think we have a few more comments. We have Pradeep saying good evening. Good evening, Pradeep. So nice to see you here. We have Adit Grover, who has sent us an emoji. So thank you for that. Right back at you. And we have Pahadi Bula from Uttarakhand, who's saying hello, everyone. How are you guys? Thank you for joining us and watching us. And if you are watching us later and you're not watching us live and you're still with us, thank you for watching us. And we hope we've been helpful with those as well. But before we go, we'll still give you 2 more tips before we say bye.
Right. So my next tip would be for our vocabulary improvement. I've noticed and I remember from the school time, like how we used to write long lists of words.
Meanings,
yes, definitions. And we learned those and for our exams and everything. But I don't know if I used those words.
Barely ever.
Even if I now remember those words. Because I've learned those by heart, no doubt. But I don't remember those words because I haven't used those words.
True.
So if you want to learn new words, you can even as small as 1, 2, 3 words a day, not more. But even if you're trying to do that, just the definition won't work.
Yes.
You won't know how to use the word. So if we want to improve our vocabulary, we need to use those words in the sentences as well. So you can write down the words and their meanings, no doubt. You can read the newspaper, find out the words, right? Like most of us were told to do, and that's not a problem. But when you learn a new word, use it to make sentences, at least 4 to 5 sentences. So you can talk to your friends, you can talk to us in the sessions, you can talk to, even if your family members are not talking to you in English, have a one-sided conversation with them. Just use those words. Just tell them what you want to say. And that would actually make a lot of difference in how you learn the words, how you use words. So when you have a proper idea of how to use those words in sentences with the meanings in proper context, then you can use those words very well in your daily life, real life situations and conversations. So that's it.
And while you were speaking, you actually reminded me of another shouldn't. So just jumping back to that, is that, if you're a beginner, you'll read this everywhere, read newspapers, read this, read that. Newspapers for beginners is probably not the best way to go. They have very difficult words sometimes. They have words that are written, the words and sentences are written very differently. So, just in case that's the situation, try not to do that. It can be very demotivating. So please don't, get very concerned about that. And my last tip for this is that, identify actual uses in your surroundings, right? And, just things like there are words, there are things, and you just try to learn all the vocabulary possible. You try to learn all the phrases and you don't really use them. So in your surroundings, whether it's with your friends, family, college, office, wherever you can and will speak in English, identify those words, identify those phrases that you would actually use, right? So, and look at things around you, look at objects around you, and instead of calling something, for example, a lot of people would call this a cup. It's a mug. So even like knowing the specific names for certain things would make a lot of sense. It helps you get better at things, and it makes you sound better. Same thing at the office. Instead of saying, or college, oh, I forgot to do that assignment. Oh, I forgot to do that task. You could say things like, it slipped my mind. So these small changes will help you improve your English over time, as opposed to just learning vocabulary and words and phrases where you don't really need and you won't really use them. So I think identification is very important before you start this process. Identifying your mistakes, identifying the methods that work, and then identifying words and vocabulary that will actually be useful to you. So I think those were a few tips that we had for you today, and hopefully those were helpful. And with that, I think we'll bring this live to an end. I think Kajal has a few more things that she's saying to us. So hello.
And Kajal.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us right from the start till the end, and for all the tips and all the wonderful comments about the tips. If they're helpful, we're just so happy to see that. Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for the wonderful compliments about my photo collage.
It means a lot. Actually.
Thank you so much. It was a birthday gift from a few birthdays ago from many friends. Thank you, Pradeep, that you found these tips extraordinary. These were extraordinary tips. I'm so happy that you feel that way. Right, Raunak? Yes. And we're so excited.
That we were able to help you all.
Yes. And so we're so happy. We're bringing the end. We keep saying we're so happy, but we genuinely
are actually. We were very excited, and we're very happy to see the same energy in you guys, that you guys are excited as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
And it's the first live of 2022, and there will be many more. Simran is telling us that there were very interesting tips as well. So thank you, Simran, for watching us, liking what we're sharing. And we'll be back next week with much more. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for being with us today. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. Yes.
And we didn't forget. Happy New Year. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Have a good week.